Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to IhsanCast. I'm your host today, Hamid, and I'm reunited with the old squad. Assalamu alaikum guys, how you doing? Is that right?
I don't think we've had this line up since week one.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
Dream team's back.
We've been missing it, yeah.
Back together. How are you feeling? Are you back?
I'm good. I'm excited for today's show.
That's good.
I can tell you're pumped up for it.
Can you tell me?
So today's topic is going to be social media. It's something that we feel is quite an important topic to talk about. And also, guys, what is like our Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your feedback is also important to us. Also, if you feel as if you want us to discuss certain topics, just comment as well, let us know. So yeah, starting it off with social media.
So who uses social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and use WhatsApp at the moment. So, yeah. I used to use Snapchat, and Snapchat's the one I used to use.
Yeah. What about you? Any experiences with it?
Mainly Facebook really. I don't really use anything else. But I know a lot of people that tend to use Instagram and Twitter and just I think they're like the normal ones just now, like they're the most regular ones.
More Insta, I think.
Yeah, I mean I think it's hard to kind of avoid social media at the moment. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you're not on it, you're still hearing about it, or you're still getting most of your news from it, or
Advertisements,
everything. So I think it's hard to, I'd say it's impossible to have a life without social media. I mean, you're not on social media, so what's your experiences of it?
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, not on social media, it's brilliant. My phone, I don't charge it. Don't charge it every day. Just get 2 days battery life out of my phone, alhamdulillah. Very, very few people contact me. It's a good life.
Do you think so? But how do you feel? So if everybody's on it, right? How do you feel connected then? Still.
How do I feel connected?
Yeah, for me, it's like part a lot of the way I connect with people. I connect with what's going on around me.
It's a good way to see what people are up to, like people that you know regularly.
Yeah. So
how do I do that? Like I've just got a small friend circle, so the people that I speak to them and I've known them for years and years, and they're the same kind of people that I speak to, and I just speak to them on the phone. I've always personally felt that personal touch of just phoning someone is a lot more useful than anything else, and I've just kind of stuck to that way.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way, as you say. But I mean, I still think that social media has benefits and stuff, but it's just for me, the time and the effort could be used to do something more productive. Me personally.
Yeah.
And everyone I want to connect with, I can already connect with them through just phoning or texting or using WhatsApp. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think social media, I think it's quite amazing. I think we're all kind of the same generation, and from not having the internet at all, and I think we're the first generation to kind of know what life was like without it.
Yeah.
And now it's come into our lives, and I think the kids nowadays or the youth nowadays have always had it, so for them it's just the way of life. But for us who have not had it in our really young age, and then through our teens we start to develop it, and now I would say I don't have a day where I don't go on either Facebook or Instagram or something. It's not even to do anything, but it's just become a way of life. It's become a habit. So I mean, I thought a really good title for this show was Social Ihsan. So it's IhsanCast, social media. Social
I see where you're coming from.
So what do you think? How does it affect our Ihsan then? How does it affect social media? What impact is it having on our faith, having on our Ihsan?
I think immediately one would think that's probably having a negative effect when you first think about social media, because of things like time wasting and other things that we spoke about. But I think there are ways for it to have positive effects as well.
So you're sitting on the fence?
Well, personally, for example, when I used to have Snapchat, I was going on it a lot just to see what people were up to.
Yeah.
I wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like you said, I could have been doing so many more productive things with my time at that moment. I wasn't even doing anything on it myself. I was, sending Snapchats. I was just using it to see, and I was wasting a lot of time on it, definitely. Okay,
but so now you say you're not on it. So are you more productive with your time, or just still time waste?
Well, with that time, I would say I am. Yeah. It's hard to gauge, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, I still go on Facebook to waste time. So in a sense, again, just seeing what people are up to, just going through my wall.
Yeah.
Getting a nosy basically.
Getting a nosy, logging out.
That's what I do as well. See, when it comes to Facebook, the whole concept of it is you're infinitely scrolling constantly down. It's quite an addictive thing when you're obviously looking over and over, seeing what people are up to, what videos are on. Because I tend to use it mostly just for watching videos over and over again. Because you can keep scrolling down just different videos as well. But the only thing about that is what happens is, what I done was when I was maybe last year or something, I deactivated my Facebook for a bit.
Yeah.
So I compared the difference. When I had Facebook, I was constantly on it. I was more distracted, whereas when I was off it, I don't know. Initially, I felt like this feeling free, like a prisoner feeling free.
Interesting, yeah.
And then what I tried to do was, the time I'd use on Facebook, I'd be using it doing other things a bit more productive, like cleaning my room.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a Jordan Peterson moment, by the way, cleaning your room. Those who listen to Jordan Peterson or not.
who's Jordan Peterson?
Legend. Look him up, Jordan Peterson, legend.
I've never heard of him. You guys heard of him?
No. I'm looking
Just smiling politely.
Yeah, I mean, for me, social media, I think it's technology in general. It's quite an amazing thing, and I think it's largely positive. I think immediately the things that you think of is you immediately think of the negative things. But for me, in my experiences with it, I don't think I'd be where I am in terms of my faith if it wasn't for social media. I think it's been one of the biggest benefits, the access to scholars that you get, the even just seeing somebody, like I think someone who is absolutely smashing it on Facebook is Sheikh Mohammed Aslam.
Yeah.
And I constantly, even just to see a post by him, even when you're scrolling, it just makes you think and reminds you of, oh, okay, yeah, you know what I mean, oh, I should read namaz, or I should do this, or I should do that. So it's just that little reminder. So even if technically you could be wasting time if that's what you see it as, but even you're still getting that small reminder. Same on Instagram, same on anything really. You're getting those small reminders. So for me, always having those small reminders is a good thing.
It's like a pick you up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pick you up, and it's just a little sharp reminder as well. So I think social media is really positive, and I don't think I'd be where I am in terms of my Ihsan or my faith without having that social media. So I think the benefits of it are huge as well.
Yeah, I think another, just on that note, for example, iSyllabus, a lot of their stuff, a lot of their events are posted on Facebook, and that's how I found out about most of them. In fact, the other day, Sheikh Rizwan did a talk on Facebook. I'm sure you said you watched it. You watched it. Did you watch it? How did you watch it?
No,
He's not on social media.
No, I mean, how would you watch it then? I mean, if you wanted to.
I think that one's on a public site, it's on a public Facebook.
Oh, so you can
still
still
log
access
in.
it. But yeah, sorry, just on your note,
To the point.
back to the digressing it. Yeah, like that event, I would have known about it. Maybe unless someone you guys had mentioned, and I would no way have accessed that had it not been Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's also a way of connecting to your community and to see who's around you and what events are happening around you as well. If you're somebody who's just moved to somewhere, or you're somebody new, or you're looking for something new that that maybe, say you're starting to develop your faith and maybe your friends around you aren't fully aware of what's going on, it's a fantastic way to link up and see what's going on around you and find events. So I think although the perception seems to be immediately as negative, I think it's just the way you look at it. For me, I think it's a whole massively positive thing as well. Don't get me wrong, I know the negatives and I can see the negatives, time wasting. I also think the spread of fake news is easy to just write things on. But then I think that comes a bit down to knowing your Islamic elements and knowing, and I don't think they change whether you're speaking to somebody in person or online. The Islamic etiquettes and the values that you have are still the same.
No, I don't. I disagree with that.
Really?
I think that the etiquettes that people show on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot are totally different. They become a totally different person.
No, that's true. But
They're
what I'm
not
saying is,
seeing
you
the
should be
person
judged
face
by
to
you should judge it as the same.
Yeah,
So
you
whether
should
talk
judge
somebody
it,
in
but
person
yeah,
or
of
online,
course,
you should still be set the same.
theoretically, it should be the same. There's no difference. Means of communication as a means of communication, whether it's talking, writing, whatever.
Yeah.
In reality, that's not what happens.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people that you get, they would not speak to others like that if they were face to face.
Yeah, that's true. You see that a lot. You see people commenting negatively on a lot of videos or pictures, and they're really negative. They're very, very aggressive, and you just wouldn't imagine them saying that kind of stuff to someone in person.
I think
It's a good way to hide behind something.
It gives you a
Like
filter
keyboard.
or a keyboard gangster, whatever you want to call it. It gives you something to hide behind that screen.
But going back to your point about fake news, not even fake news, but when it comes to just news in general, I think it's a good way to get news, like unbiased news, because you get, what is your other source of getting news, like BBC or
Yeah.
just whatever, they can be
I'd
quite
say
biased.
that's one of the real benefits of something like YouTube and even podcasts. I'd say these two are really, really good because you're not adhering to media bias. Whatever you're getting through is not media bias because you can choose who you listen to, what you watch,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And the adverts are nowhere near as many adverts, first of all, and the adverts are not as biased as what they would be, for instance, on television to
Yeah.
make you think, or media bias being as strong.
Mm.
I think these kind of elements of it are very, very important. I'd also say that in terms of things like using your time well, it does have a benefit, like things like YouTube or podcasts especially. If you're thinking about if you're doing something mundane like doing the gardening or even just driving a long distance,
You could be listening
you
to
listening
IhsanCast.
yeah you could be listening to IhsanCast while you're doing that, and you're gaining knowledge, you're picking up good insights and things like that, which typically you wouldn't normally do. So you're actually maximizing your time that you've got,
Yeah.
which is something which you wouldn't have typically had on TV or anything like that. But also choosing preferences, so choosing what you actually want to listen to, what you want to watch. And that's a major difference because on TV it's a set schedule and they choose for you.
Yeah.
So the choice isn't yours, and therefore the bias is always going to be with them.
But see that
Whereas on YouTube or
yeah,
podcasting,
see that
it's different.
personalization of you pick what you want to watch and listen to. Could that also be slightly dangerous because you're only hearing what you want to hear from the people you want to hear from? So all of a sudden you're not hearing what the other argument is.
Yeah.
But the thing is
the
that
other point of view
you
is.
will still hear the other arguments because at the same time you're generally interested in a topic. So if you're generally interested in a topic, you might have opposing views within a topic.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you have opposing views, you're still going to see the opposing views within a topic. And that's what I'm saying, it's actually more accessible because typically, for instance, if you're using that argument on the BBC or whatever other media outlet there is, they choose the panels, so they choose the people that come on. So if they all think the same way,
Yeah.
how would you know if there's a different opinion or not? Whereas if you're on YouTube or on a podcast, you can easily type up and ask, okay, is there a different opinion to this? And you can watch that video.
That's true.
Do you have that preference on TV?
Yeah, that's true.
No.
But
Yeah.
surely, going back to what Ham said specifically about Facebook, you're still in a bias. I think we touched on this in the last episode about the Facebook bubble.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that's? How would that compare to the bias of watching the BBC, for example?
Yeah, no doubt. But then the thing is that your feed is a lot more varied as well. So your feed is a lot more variable now. And that's up to then the personal preference of how varied you want your feed to become.
Yeah. Okay.
And then obviously, like if you're only interested in certain things, then that's fine. That's not.
You're just limiting
Yeah,
yourself to what.
Yes,
you're
that's not really that's not. Is it a problem? Yes, but look, humans still gonna have those biases, no matter what. But the thing is that they're your biases which you've created, not someone else imposing them on you.
Yeah.
That's a distinct
So
difference.
just
to me.
touching upon that, I just wanted to ask you guys about the kind of the negative elements of social media then. So of course you've got Instagram, Facebook. For me, like Instagram is probably, even though I quite like going on it and I quite like using it, I can see that there's huge pitfalls with that one compared to something like podcasts or YouTube, because you're seeing a snapshot of somebody's life and there's no context behind it.
Yeah.
You're just seeing a picture of them, somebody always happy, and you can, the mental health effects of that on you especially. But just with looking at it from a Ihsan point of view as well, how do you think the negative implications of social media, what do you think they are?
I think in terms of Ihsan, there's huge issues which I wouldn't really say negative aspects, but things which you need to consider. Pitfalls that you can easily fall into. Instagram is probably the major one which you can fall into because of this idea of being jealous of someone, or this idea of keeping up with the Joneses, or not appreciating what Allah's given you. When you look at how other people's lives are being, how other people's lives are faring. Whereas the reality is that they're just sending you one snapshot of their day. which they might have had one good moment in their day,
Yeah.
which they've taken a picture of, and the rest of their day might have been terrible.
Yeah.
You have no way of knowing that through just a simple Instagram post.
Yeah, and there's no real negativity with it because
Yeah.
nobody's posting up any negative pictures.
Mhm.
So I think without context,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
also
it's different.
narcissism as well, like not being narcissistic on it. Like for instance, you have this like people take photos at a certain hour of the day. It's called like golden hour. It's basically just the hour before the sun goes down. And this is it's an interesting.
For somebody who's not on, for somebody who's not on
No,
social
it's well, you know, I do my research, lads. I come prepared. So no looking at anyone. But so I was reading about this and it's like, you know, there's basically this golden hour. It's like an hour before the sun goes down, and that's when the sun's at its kind of softest. So it's the
Right.
best time to take photos.
So
Well,
do
like
you
now.
take a photo at that point then?
So well, I'm not on it to take it, but
That
I
should
mean,
be our
we
back
should try it. We should try it. So maybe we should try it. Do it in golden hour
for
time.
the next
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. It even comes out better. But yeah, I mean that's so narcissistic that you forget even the moment, but you choose the moment that you want to take the picture to show to other people just how great your life is.
Yeah.
Like you will go to those kind of lengths just to do that.
And without being in the moment.
Yeah,
You know,
without
that's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Without actually, because it
because
takes you away from actually being alive.
yeah,
and
exactly.
doing what you want.
Being in the moment is in the moment. You take the picture in the moment. If you're waiting for that moment to happen, you're
Yeah.
clearly not in the
Yeah.
moment, are you?
Yeah, you see
So
people
then-
putting those kind of pictures up on like
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram and that, where like it's a beautiful view or they're on holiday or something. But see me personally, like, when it comes to being on holiday and you're wanting to take that perfect picture, it kind of ruins the moment. You're going to try to spend too much time taking that perfect picture, you don't actually enjoy the actual moment. Don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
still take pictures here and there though. But
Yeah. No, I think so. I think for me that idea of not, it takes away from what we've grown up with and what Ihsan is. You know, be in the moment. You know what I mean? Appreciate what's around you. You know what God's given you and appreciate it all. And it's kind of you taking you completely away from that. So I think for me that is one of the biggest pitfalls personally.
I would think maybe some people would want to capture that moment and as a memory, you know, serve it as a memory. Surely that's not taking them away from the Ihsan of it.
No,
Comes
not
down
at all.
to
It
the
comes down to the individual.
Yeah, it comes down to the
But if you
intentions.
want that, if you're only wanting to show a perfect picture,
Yeah.
and I say if you need to take 10 pictures to do that,
Ah, yeah.
then all of a sudden
Of course.
kind of what are you doing? You know. What I
Yeah.
mean? And I think also just with like sort of image, you know. What I mean?
Yeah, I think images have a massive difference in comparison to writing and words. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember when that, you know, when the Syrian crisis was at its peak, and
Was that
some of the
picture?
newspapers sent us a
Yeah.
picture of a young boy who had basically been washed up on the
Oh,
shores.
yeah,
I
I
think
remember that,
Cyprus
yeah.
or Greece, and that kind of changed it. That kind of changed the whole tone of actually it kind of changed the narrative of how
Yeah.
the whole situation was depicted.
Yeah,
Where
it's
it
a
was
bit of a
like
turning moment.
these migrants are coming over to our country, they should stay in their own country, and then seeing, well, if these people are going through these kind of extremes where little children the age of 2 or 3 are being washed up on the shores, things must be really bad in order for them to take these kind of risks. And that changed the whole narrative of how people then looked at the Syrian refugees who were coming over. They weren't migrants who were looking
Yeah.
to come over for a better time. They were refugees who were running for their lives. And that was that imagery, like as they say, you know, a picture tells 1,000 words, was that kind of moment.
So on the flip side, that's then okay. Obviously, it's a horrific image,
Yeah.
and the whole situation is horrific. But on the flip side, there is a positive to it because
Yeah,
that
I mean,
image going viral,
Mm.
then you know all of a sudden you can connect with 20 million people out of nowhere if you go viral, and your message can now reach audiences that are unrivaled. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so what? Okay, let's talk about the positives then. What in terms of looking at it from a Ihsan lens, what positives are there of social media, or have you experienced any positives?
Just what I was mentioning earlier on about the whole thing about news, it being unbiased when you receive it. And like you said, getting the other side, it's easier to get the other opinion, like the opposite end of the spectrum, as opposed to using other media outlets like TV or whatever.
So that's interesting because I would say the opposite. I would say the news that we're now getting is more biased than ever.
On Facebook and social media now, yeah.
I would say so, and I don't think we can. I think even if you're getting it from the TV or whatever, there's a sense of trust that that it's from a source that's not going to be lying. Okay, it might be biased, but it's not going to be lying. Whereas now, you don't know if what information you're getting from any link, it could be completely false, and there's been so many examples of complete false information.
I think that's the one of the dangers of living in the information age. When you live in the age of information, you are gonna have 101 different opinions out there, and therefore you have to navigate yourself a lot more cautiously over that. So there's costs and benefits over it as well. But as people who should act and act upon self-restraint, then we should obviously think about these things before we engage in them.
Yeah.
And if we do think about these things before we engage in them, then we will take more of the benefit than we'll take of the negative.
Yeah.
There's another. I know you mentioned positive, but we've got to jump back to negative. Another negative I was thinking of was about this idea of social media being addictive, and how there's certain. I think it was Hannah spoke to me about this. I can't remember who it was. How there's certain pathways in the brain that are innervated by basically drug addicts, by certain drugs where they don't get their drugs. They are, there's a whatever the nerve pathway is, it's innervated. It sends off a signal where they become agitated. They really need to check the phone. They need to see what's going on. Drug addicts are really drugs, but then bring it onto social media. It's the exact same where that person feels as if there's a real need, and it's coming from their body physically from this addiction.
I've also seen that where people just want that it's the noise of the message, or seeing their phone flash up, that they become addicted to that, and it's not even like the actual content of the message, but it's just that sort of buzz of, oh my god, I've got a message sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's that buzz of seeing the light.
It's also the colours they use as well. When there's a notification, it's a red colour. Like on your phone, if there's an update on iPhone or something, there's like a red colour at the top corner. Like for the wee icon. It's those colours to basically alert you and make you kind of look at your phone more.
Yeah. But I remember when I was seeing this, it was a talk. I remember now, and what the guy was saying was that in itself, okay, we're adults having lived through the age like you're saying, you've lived through before and after, so we can kind of recognise
disconnect from it.
Yeah. But children who are now born into this and see it and that's all they know, A, it's going to affect them socially, and B, he was saying it was effects on them you don't really know. We're going to wait and see now, because that generation is coming.
I think we're starting to see the effects now. I think only now we're starting to see kind of what social media is.
The shorter
positives and the negatives.
The shorter attention spans has been.
100%.
I mean that is something which you've seen where people are just demanding things now. Like everything has to happen now at this moment, because that's what they're used to. That's become a new norm. And even when it comes to like a lack of social skills, like I get really angry when I'm speaking to someone and they're on their phone. They'll pull their phone out.
That. But you know what's interesting?
They'll constantly just pull their phone out.
That, but I don't even realise when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's just
they'll like pull out their phone and you're like, that's extremely rude because to do, because you're not giving me your full attention.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's coming from me who doesn't use social media, so therefore it looks rude. But looking at it, speaking to other people, that's now become a norm where they can have like a conversation with someone while they're on their phone, and I've realised the conversations that they have are dead. Yeah, they're dead conversations because they're not exerting any energy or any kind of mental focus into what they're doing. And I just think that's like I don't see how that can benefit you in any way.
I think this idea of people now having to have digital detoxes. You know what I mean? This idea where people just need a break. And I'm seeing it more and more with people online as well. People saying, I just need to come off social media completely because it is an addiction.
Like the funny thing is that in markets now they have dumb phones. I don't know if you've heard of these. Basically they're the opposite of smartphones, but they're like designer. So you can only call, you can only text, you've got like, you don't even have 4G, you've got like 2G internet.
So there's something that's coming out now, eh?
No, it's already out. They're already out, and they're like £200-300 phones. Yeah, they're very, very expensive, but they're kind of like designer. They're kind of like fashionable, like hipster to have.
I'm pretty sure I had a phone like that in the
And
house.
yeah, and
Did you
people
know
are,
There's only one hipster in this podcast.
I think it's a
and
bit
people,
like
people are
yeah.
people are doing that now because they see just how much time they're wasting and how much time
Yeah.
they're spending on that. How it's become an addiction that they need a
Yeah.
detox. The issue is that it's basically a marketing ploy because they never seem to use that in the long run. They always end up going back to a smartphone.
See, what happened to me was my phone crashed once, and it was out for even a couple of days actually. But for the first few hours, I remember when it first crashed, I started panicking a wee bit. I was like, I have everything on my phone, like my schedule for working, that emails, everything. I don't know what to do. Like, if I was to work somewhere a different day, like I use Google Maps on my phone. Like, what do I do? I actually panicked, and I thought, you know what? It's probably better this way, just relax, enjoy myself a wee bit. I can finally switch off.
I mean,
And
really,
it was actually nice after a while. It was really nice.
really, it's dumbed us down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the point where we don't use our own senses anymore. Like you said, you're relying on Google Maps.
Yeah.
I remember before when I was something, and I kind of always thought I had a sense of I can kind of find it as long as I know vaguely where I'm going. I can kind of find it. You know what I mean? But now I know that my sense of directions is just like gone. You know what I mean?
Basic
it's like
basic
orientation.
orientation
Yeah.
skills, like kind of just even being able to look at maps and things like that, or being able to look at road signs and see, right, okay, if I want to go to city centre, I have to go straight ahead on this roundabout. We don't use that anymore. Just we listen to the phone and it goes go straight ahead.
Yeah.
It's first exit,
Sometimes
etc.
you get to the
and
wrong
that's
route,
it. And it's
and you
just like,
question, like, does that really know the right route? Should I follow that? Should I follow my instinct?
and you'd always end up trusting, and then you'd always end up trusting the sat nav. Even if you've been on that route 100 times before, and you know it's taking you a longer way, you'll be like, it's probably taking me the longer way for a reason. So let's just
Let's see what happens.
Right, okay, so let's bring it back to the point. Like, I think we've touched on a lot of negatives, but there's definitely positives to it as well. I've told you my own experiences with it, like finding the sheikhs online, even reading articles. You know, I've taken so much information from it. Even in terms of like now getting married, you know what I mean? For Muslims, there's like so many marriage apps and stuff like this. I think it's such a positive
You
thing.
working for a marriage app?
Minder advocate.
No, not at all. I just think it's a very positive thing. I think we should embrace what it has and really go forward with it, because there's no point denying it or no point just saying it's got this, it's got this, it's got this.
Yeah,
It's
that's
here and it's
It's here
a
to
thing to
stay,
use.
yeah.
It's we should use it. So what kind of positives in terms of our religion can we take from it, apart from just having all the sheikhs at your fingertips? Like, what other positives? Try to unpick it a bit more.
I think recently, well, for me anyway, when it came to studying for uni and that, I found watching videos more easier, more like to access knowledge and to study basically, as opposed to reading.
Yeah.
I think for people nowadays might be the same way as well.
Yeah.
Where basically they're watching videos more often.
Also,
So if
think
you were to use that for religion, like there's a lot of Islamic videos, short clips, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, just that would be quite beneficial.
just to add to that, I think that's an important point, because in the West, kind of we don't have a typical structure. Like, most people don't go to sleep at like 10 o'clock the way they used to, and people's timetables change, and even people's working patterns are not the typical 9 to 5 working pattern anymore. So accessing knowledge in terms of like general mediums, in terms of, you know, you go after work, you go to a class or whatever. A lot of people, if you're a taxi driver, you're not going to be able to meet that class, or if you're working a longer shift that night, you won't be able to make that class. Like, the online benefit of it is, you know, you've got access to it in a different format, which is accessible at any time, any place, anywhere.
Yeah. What about in terms of the positive benefits it can have on your relationships with others then? Social media, have you had any positive experiences of that?
I'd say if we consider WhatsApp, like, it's a very easy way to keep in touch with people, like family, people that have just kind of moved on and doing their own things basically.
Yeah.
Very easy way to keep in touch.
Connects with people worldwide.
Pictures, like newborn babies and that. Very easy way to get access photos of just new things that are happening to people.
Yeah, I remember when my son was born, we just put a message on Facebook, myself and my wife, and that was it. That's a majority. Obviously, apart from our close ones, but you know, you still want to tell people that you know, like extended family and things, and that's how they found it. So I think that was easier in that sense. So you know, giving out news or whatever. I know we were saying earlier it's a negative to go and have a nosy, but
Keep
sometimes
it positive. There's a
I've
positive
got nothing else
section.
to say. Yeah. No, but I think sometimes you know, people you can find out about your loved ones, people that you know,
Yeah.
you know, without.
It's easier basically every
I
time.
think what we were touching last week, Dawa. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't get Dawa can't go any bigger than this. You mean if you dedicate kind of your Facebook or whatever to promoting Islam in the right way with the right intention, your impact that you can have on people could be huge. Even if it's just showing people, you know, just feeding that small bit of information daily or whatever. Like Sheikh
Yeah.
Hassan mentioned him, he does it like superbly. I think it's just small snippets of information, but you take it on and it's easy to share with other people as well. So I think the transfer of information is so much easier now.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good point
Yeah.
to make regarding that. Yeah, and especially like the way we are now in terms of like everything's. I mean, the reality is that most of us need to wake up and think, well, this is a medium and a mode of communication. This is a mode of dawah that we can give. So we should always be looking at the kind of benefits from it as well. That's maybe one thing that I kind of lack of being off it and stuff, maybe not benefiting as much. Like when you said, you know, Sheikh Rizwan's video was on, I didn't see it because of that. So there are definite benefits that you can see from it in terms of having access to fuel, access to information, but also I think like really good inspiration and kind of pick you up kind of feeling that you get from it. Don't get me wrong, it's short term. It's not it's still not going to replace you sitting with a scholar personally one to one, but it's still a short term pick me up that we can't neglect and we can't kind of just throw out the window and say that's not useful.
Yeah.
Because for many people it is useful.
Yeah. I think you kind of need to. You need to understand what it is, and you need to give it some thought, because if you're not going to think about it and you just kind of let it run your life for you, it's easy to kind of slip into that mode and it can kind of take over. And I know I've sometimes struggled with you know, just wanting to go online and find things online as opposed to actually, you know, wanting to find information from people. Sometimes it's easier to send a message online than it is to talk to somebody face to face. If it's a negative thing you need to say, or if it's like something that's a bit confrontational, you know, it's sometimes easier to hide behind the screen than to say it. So I think you need to engage with it, but I think everybody, we need to understand it as well and understand the benefits and implications it has for me. I could go on Facebook all day and it might not affect me negatively, whereas someone else might go on it for 5 minutes depending on their mental state at the time, and it might really affect them. So I think it's an individual thing as well.
I think it's important to recognise it as well. When you're on it, what are you doing with your time on it? Like you're saying, if you're on it all day, it could impact you positively, but you know what you're spending your time on. So I think that's down to the individual, isn't it, really?
Yeah. I think what maybe some people forget is that you're still responsible, you know what I mean? When it comes down to the end of the day, your hands and your eyes and your ears and your tongue, everybody's going to speak the truth for you or against you. So whether you're typing or speaking, for me I see it as the same thing. So I know I don't know, what do you think about that?
No, I completely agree with that as well. I think what it's all about is comes down to balance.
Yeah.
If you're over excessive in it, it will potentially have a bad effect on you. Because even actually speaking, the lighting of it, if you're in a dark room and there's a very, very bright light in front of your face, it can be damaging, because naturally you're opposed to getting the sunlight, which is melatonin or melanin, what it's called. And if we're getting just these bright lights from a phone, it's more dangerous than getting that, and that's how people can end up suffering things like anxiety and that.
Yeah, I think anxiety is a big worrier with social media. I think we're seeing it now, kind of. I don't know if any of the stats or the figures, but I think anxiety is a big, I mean, especially affecting our generation. Anxiety levels are through the roof for loads of people.
I think social media is maybe just one of the things. Sure there's other reasons, but social media being one of the bigger ones probably for our generation and younger generations.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it is balance at the end of the day.
I think that's what, I mean, in terms of every episode, I think we spoke about balance when it comes to Ihsan, everything.
Well, that is what Ihsan is about. Ihsan is not just like totally eliminating yourself from the dunya, where you go into recluse, because then you won't be able to benefit anyone as well.
Yeah.
And it's not totally about being engrossed in the dunya, it's about finding that balance, that you take the good from the world and add that to your belief system that you've already got to make you a better person. But also this act of, selflessness and benefiting people and showing that you can benefit people and giving people inspiration is, of course, something good that we should strive to do as well.
Yeah.
So Ihsan is one of those things which I would say that on the whole, though, generally it does have more of a negative effect on your Ihsan than it does positively, because in theory, yes, everything that you guys have said works, no doubt about it, and they are all massive benefits, but in reality, do people use it like that?
Yeah.
No. Do people use it for benefit the way they do? No. As much as what they could do, do they maximise the potential that they have out of it to only do good, to only get good out of it? No. So theoretically, yes, it's of course very, very good, but in terms of actually practically how we as Muslims use it, that's a different story. And I think that, like you said, we've still got a responsibility, no matter what, whether we're speaking to someone personally, or whether we're speaking to someone on Facebook or Instagram, or posting hate messages on bullying, cyberbullying or whatever. Doesn't matter, that's still all classified as an action.
Yeah.
Just because you're not saying it to the person face to face, it's still classified as an action,
Yeah.
which means that you'll still be held accountable for that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% I agree. Yeah, but to kind of conclude then, what's kind of your relationship with social media then, and how do you see it moving forward? Do you think you're going to continue it, or do you think you're going to lessen it? Because I think the older you get as well, I've kind of already seen it as kind of decline in my Facebook anyway, a lot less people going on it, whereas my Instagram's a lot more people going on that, which people say that's a lot more dangerous as well. So in terms of my own thing with social media is, I think I want to continue using it for, I understand what you said and everything, I agree with what you said, but I think for me personally, the benefits of seeing the reminders, the daily reminders of what I need to do, and the access to information, even though I'm not seeking it, I've not gone and searched into YouTube, this is what I'm not listening to, but it might just pop up on my newsfeed, and that might start something for me, and I want to find out more about that. I think the positives outweigh the negatives personally for myself. How about yourself?
I'm very similar to you, I would say, in the sense, just as I've gotten older, personally, I've only got Facebook now, as I say anyway, but I'm not on it a lot at all. When I do go on it, I do admit I do go on for a nosy. But equally, I also go on.
Who do you nosy?
There's plenty of people out there. But I do also go on to just seek these things. Not that I'm actively looking. I mean, you've summed it up very nicely, actually.
Yeah. Thanks.
I mean, I was contemplating at one point actually just deactivating it altogether. But I do get benefit from it, which is why I reckon I'll probably just stay on it.
Yeah.
For me, everything that you guys said, I agree with completely. Like the whole beneficial part of it and also the negatives of it. But for me personally, what I've realised that I'm doing sometimes is subconsciously, I'm taking my phone out, I'm unlocking it, and I'm going through stuff, and I'm like, hold on, what's going on here? Like, why am I still going to this? Or if I want to use my phone for something, I'll go onto Facebook and I'll forget what I'm using my phone for.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think I need to cut down. I think I need to either
well.
limit it, control it, or deactivate something.
Yeah. Well, have you managed to persuade you to at least get one of them? You don't need to get all of them.
No, I'm happy with it.
No,
I just think that the way I look at it is that I could just use my time a lot more beneficially, and therefore, what's the point of really going at it? Are there good aspects of it? Yeah, 100%. But is it for me? I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think I would contribute anything to it, so therefore it's just better off just.
So, but isn't there a point to be made that now, with social media being here and stuff like that, it is kind of an obligation upon Muslims to use it positively?
No, it's not. It's not an obligation. It's not fun.
Okay, it's not an obligation, but what I mean, okay, but I kind of, if you can use it for doing positive actions, then should we not be taking advantage of it?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if
we-
so, just sorry, if
Go
so,
ahead, go on.
are Muslims, as a Muslim Ummah, are we not capitalising on it enough? Are we using it enough for good, or are we not using it enough for good?
Yeah, we're not it can be used as, that's what I was saying, it can be used as a platform for good. However, I see the narcissistic side coming out a lot more, and I see the negative aspects of it controlling people a lot more, where we're not fully benefiting from it. And therefore, for me personally, I think that there's certain people who can deal with social media and can deal with the hate and
Yeah,
can deal with
that's
all
true,
of
yeah.
that and can really get the benefit out of it far more than other people can. And I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think I could benefit. I still personally benefit from a personal touch of speaking to someone. I still think that's the best mode of communication.
Yeah.
Personally, that's just me.
Fair enough.
I still believe that speaking to someone face to face, or meeting up with someone for
Yeah.
coffee, or have
What you
over
did
a
next week.
discussion, or even if I've got a dispute with someone, rather than having
Yeah.
a kind of war on Facebook where it just goes on and on and on over days. Hey,
Yeah.
you disagree with me on this opinion. You don't, follow the same view as I follow. Let's meet up and discuss it.
Yeah.
And I think it becomes a lot more amicable discussion as well through that. But
And
like
you
I
learn
said,
social
yeah,
skills from it as well.
and I think the social aspect of it as well. But
Yeah.
like I said, that's just me personally, because I don't feel I could maximize the benefits out of it without receiving the negatives. And therefore, if push came to shove and I had a choice between the two, I personally stay out.
Yeah, I agree.
Have I convinced you?
No, you make a compelling argument, but I still think, for me personally, the benefits of it, maybe I'm just a nosy person, I don't know. Maybe I'm just addicted. I still enjoy it. I enjoy going on it, and I like going on it, and I feel connected, and I feel I know what's going on around me with the events and stuff like that, and I see the benefits of it. But I think 100% right. You need to know who you are as a person, and you need to know what your limits are, because there are times when I've easily fallen into that pitfall where I've started to become a lot more negative because I've seen, I kind of want that, or I wish that I was doing that, or I'm not there, or I'm not there. So I think you need to kind of be a bit more strong and understand where you're coming from. And if it's a personal thing, if it's not for you, it's not for you. And I think you need to understand yourself. So I think it could be a good tool for understanding who you are and where you're at as well. So that could be another positive of it.
You know. So guys, that's all we've got time for today. What to do is please leave comments, give us your feedback. It's really important to us.
Yeah.
Even like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because IhsanCast is beneficial to us, but we want it to be very beneficial for you guys as well. So if you want us to discuss certain topics, just leave comments, let us know. And yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.